she's talking about somebody that she believes is a girl, right? A trans boy. And she's like, well, he... like, you can't even spit it out. Okay. Who wants to do a little, we do a little Matt Walsh as a treat. We do a little more transphobia as a treat on top of the transphobia we just went through. I like what little control I got. Yeah. No, it's nice to have control. I get you. Is it him getting owned? It is not him getting owned. He is, I believe he's confronting the allegations that, I don't know if he's confronting the allegations that he's doing stochastic terrorism, but he's definitely talking about the Boston Children's Hospital. How about no? How about yes? He's talking about the Boston Children's Hospital. So if you are not terminally online like I am, you might not know this, but Matt Walsh is a little bit of a dick, as is Libs of TikTok. And these two have formed the dream team of a lifetime. They have tag teamed to create the most dangerous of stochastic terrorist teams known to man. They are at least known to trans men and trans women and trans people. Yeah. Basically what they're doing is they are telling all of their followers, hey, guess what? This hospital right here, this children's hospital, they're doing a bad. They're doing a Nazi Germany. Why? Because trans kids are going there. So it's bad because they are accepting trans kids and saying that trans kids exist and treating them. Now, the reality of what they're saying, they're lying, by the way, they're lying. What they're saying is completely unfounded and untrue. What they're saying is that the hospitals are performing surgical procedures on minors, okay? Now, actually, now that I recall, I did watch just a bit of this. What he's going to reference in this video, okay, is an audio recording. And this audio recording was recorded by the lady who runs Libs of TikTok, all right? Now, I had seen this audio recording posted by somebody else before, thankfully, so I know how to counter it, all right? We're just going to take a listen. We're just going to go ahead and get started.
Doing some investigative journalism. One of the only people in the country doing actual investigative journalism.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And what she's doing here is, you would think that if the Libs of TikTok doing some investigative journalism.
Totally.
One of the only people.
My favorite form of investigative journalism is when you pull clips from TikTok and say, this is what everybody is doing all the time, actually. And it's bad because I said it's bad, actually. That's it. That's real cutting edge investigative journalism. Very good stuff.
In the country doing actual investigative journalism. And what she's doing here is, you would think that if there were real journalists working for these supposed news outlets, that one of them would have done this. Given that there's...
Yeah, you would almost think, guys, isn't it crazy that none of the real news journalists wanted to touch this or say anything about this? That's crazy. That's crazy that like none of those real journalists are saying anything about this. But thankfully, Libs of TikTok is on the case. The realest of the journalists, right? We all know her. We all love her. If you're weird and cringe-pilled. Yeah, no, totally. That's why. I wonder if these people can hear themselves talk. You know, it's great. They're parodies of themselves.
There's this conversation about children's hospitals and so-called gender-affirming surgeries and procedures. And which of those procedures do they inflict on minors and which do they reserve for adults? Well, a good way to find out is to just call them, not as a member of the media, but just call them and ask. That's exactly what Libs of TikTok did, and let's start going through this audio here. This is what, by the way, this is the...
Okay, let's hear it out.
This is the Children's Hospital, what is this? Children's National Hospital in D.C. Okay.
Let's hear it out. Now, my initial assumption here was that they were faking this, but that's not true. This is a real hospital, okay? So keep that in mind. It is real.
For calling National Hospital, your call may be recorded for quality assurance.
I was calling for information about gender-affirming hysterectomies.
Okay, you said gender-affirming hysterectomy.
I've been in touch with quite a few hospitals, and a lot of them, they said they won't do it for my 16-year-old, and then I was told that this hospital might, and I also saw it on your website. So if you guys do it for a 16-year-old, I would be happy for, to come for a consultation or whatever it takes.
Let me get you over to the operator, and I hate to transfer you.
I just want to know if you guys do service that age, before coming all.
So she's trying very hard to muscle an answer out of this phone operator for an entire children's hospital. An entire children's hospital trying to muscle out an answer, a medical answer from a phone operator, mind you.
All the way for an in-person consult and going through all the paperwork and everything.
Yeah, it depends. Like, each department is different. Some departments cut off at 18. How old is your patient?
16.
Okay, all right. So they're in the clear. I'll email Dr. Call and see what we can.
All
in
right.
the meantime, if you still want me to transfer you, I can still transfer you to surgery.
All right. So pause it there for a sec.
Keep in mind, again, it was a phone operator, okay? This person didn't do anything except manage the calls and transfer them. That's their job. They're not a medical expert.
So we've already heard from the operator. Oh, well, she said it very clear. You're in the clear. At the age of 16, you're in the clear. Now, this is very different. If you were to call, and this is the investigation that media outlets have done, where as members of the media, they call the hospital's PR department and say, hey, you're being criticized for doing this awful thing. Do you actually do that thing? And then the hospital say, no, we don't do that.
He's saying that that hospitals lie. He's calling hospitals and healthcare workers liars, is what he's doing.
And then the media says, well, you see, there it is. They would never lie to us. End of discussion. But if you call them as a potential patient/customer willing to give you your money, you get a very different answer. Conversation continues. Let's play a little bit more of this.
I love how he frames it as like a customer thing, like a money transaction, because it is kind of a money transaction, right? But that's a broader problem with healthcare. That's not the focus of this video, but I do want to make that clear, is that they'll always tell you, it's all about money. The trans surgeons are grubbing for your money, and that might be true. But guess what? It's no different than fucking knee replacement doctors and surgeons also grubbing for your money. That's how capitalism works. So unless you have a broader problem with the capitalist profit incentive, shut up. This is literally only about trans people.
Hi, I was calling because I'm looking for information about the gender-affirming hysterectomies that you guys offer. Am I in the right place?
Okay. Yes. This is the clinic. Did you want to make an appointment?
So I was just wondering, I've contacted quite a few hospitals already.
Matt doesn't know how long it takes to get approved for hysterectomy, and it shows. That's another really good point that I did not even consider. That's an excellent point. At 16, beginning discussions about a hysterectomy once you turn 18 is actually incredibly reasonable. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Adric. That is extraordinarily good point. Very good. Very, very good. Thank you. No, that's true. The waiting list for these things, and because of all the checks that you have to go through, is insane. So it makes perfect sense that you would want to begin that process at the age of 16. Because the surgery is not going to happen until probably well after your 18th birthday, right? That's how that works. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention.
It seems like it's difficult to find one that does the operation for my 16-year-old, and I was told that you guys do that. So if you do it for 16-year-olds, then yes, I'd love to schedule an appointment, a consultation, whatever you need.
If you don't mind me asking, what is your child gender changing to, so I can point you to the right direction?
Wait, pause it there for a second. What did your child's gender change into?
I'm going to slightly agree there. Interesting way to word that. But, again, it's just a person talking over the phone. It's not like they've prepared this shit.
This is someone at the hospital, in the relevant department, asking that question. What did your child's gender change into?
Oh my God, dude. What a fucking nitpick, by the way. That is nitpicking, okay? Even for Matt Walsh, that's nitpicking.
What? What does that mean? And by the way, so it's like, because they're right, there's not just two options.
Correct.
So hysterectomy means that we're dealing with a girl, we can assume. So maybe the hospital worker knows that much. But she's not a girl anymore, but maybe not a boy. She could be something else.
Yes, based. That's right. Non-binaries rise up. Girls and bros and non-binary hoes. Let's go.
It's also like, why does that matter to you? I mean, is there, what difference does that make?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Anyway,
What?
let's
Wait. What do you mean? Why does that matter to you? Matt, that matters to you very fucking much. Did I mishear that? Am I going crazy? Excuse me.
I mean, is there, what difference does that make? Anyway, let's continue.
Wait. I'm
It's also
so
like,
confused.
why does that matter to you?
Why does what matter? Okay. He says,
With a girl, we can assume. So maybe the hospital worker knows that much. But she's not a girl anymore, but maybe not a boy. She could be something else. It's also like, why does that matter to you?
okay, I get his point a little bit better. What he's saying is, I was being uncharitable, but what he's saying is, if the hysterectomy is happening one way or another, would that not be the important part, right? I mean, it seems as though the nurse was trying to get clarification as to the child's assigned sex at birth, right? So that's my interpretation. It could also be that like there's different kinds of treatments depending on how far you want to go into the transition process, etc. So like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that irrelevant of a question to me. It was worded weirdly, but it did not seem that irrelevant.
I mean, is there, what difference does that make? Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, well, he transitioned to male. You know, he already had.
By the way, it's so funny to me. She has to hesitate. Like she has to, like, it's almost like she's talking about somebody that she believes is a girl, right? A trans boy. And she's like, well, he, like, you can't even spit it out. Okay.
Had the top surgery, and now we're looking for the hysterectomy.
Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to transfer you to the GYN nurse line. One of the nurses will give you a call to give you more information and to let you know the steps and the protocol that they do for that, okay?
That seems
Okay.
fine.
So they do. So they would do it.
Do what?
For
Do what? Do what specifically?
for that age.
Yes.
All right, there you go.
Do
That's
what
it.
specifically? Do what specifically? Listen again. Listen again. This is so misleading. So Chaya, aka Libs of TikTok, says, well, he transitioned to a male. You know he already had the top surgery, and now we're looking for the hysterectomy. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to transfer you to the GYN nurse line. One of the nurses will give you a call to give you more information and to let you know that the steps and the protocol that they would do for that. Okay, so they would do it for that age. The latest thing that the hospital workers said was, and to let you know the steps and the protocol, spelled incorrectly here, that they do for that. That is what the nurse was referring to. Okay? Christ, dude. It's so
For that,
dishonest.
okay?
Nothing
Okay.
new, but
So they do. So they would do it for that age.
yes, they would run you through the protocol.
Yes.
All right, there you go. That's it. Good. So confirmed with two people, the hospital operator and then someone in the relevant department. Yes, they do gender-affirming, quote-unquote, hysterectomies for 16-year-olds right there.
No, they begin the process. They begin the process because it's a process to get to that point.
Horse's mouth, so to speak. Now, this was published, and shortly after that, Children's National Hospital put out a statement. And here's their statement. We are aware of the audio recordings circulating on Twitter. Here are the facts. We foster a welcoming and inclusive environment for all, serving our LGBTQ plus patients and families in the full spectrum of their care. We do not.
This could also be read as an intersex child where they have been having gender-affirming therapy that / the parents choose for the kid. Wait, what? I'm confused what you mean.
Provide gender-affirming surgery for anyone under the age of 18. We do not provide hormone therapy to children before puberty begins. Care is individualized for each patient and always involves families making decisions in coordination with a team of highly trained pediatric specialists. Now, once again, the media is taking that and saying, well, see, debunked. We have on tape the people at the hospital saying, yes, we do that for 16-year-olds.
Yes, we do. I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm just going to repeat, like, if I try to explain it again, I'm just going to repeat myself. They're being deliberately obtuse.
So either
I'm pro-trans, I just don't get their arguments, they meaning Matt Walsh. Oh, their arguments are very easy to get. It's just that they want trans people dead. They want to genocide trans people. That's all this is about. They just can't say that part. So all they're doing is leading their followers to the edge, as I mentioned earlier, probably before you got here, Jamie. They lead their followers to the edge and tell them, if you do not take the dive, or they don't even say that. They take them all the way to the edge. They're like, no, you don't understand. Like, the Children's Hospital is doing all these Nazi procedures, right? These surgical procedures. They're is botulating the right word? I'm going to go with it. Botulating these children and mutilating them and whatever. They're doing all these things to kids. It's horrible. Okay, see ya. And it's like, what are you supposed to do with that information? You know? So now the hospital's getting death threats from his audience, which he will not bring up, by the way. I guarantee you. Guarantee you.
the hospital is lying now in an effort to cover their ass, which,
Incorrect.
by the way, that's the correct answer here, or the people at the hospital were lying. Someone's lying. The hospital is lying one way or another. The person who wrote this statement was lying, or the people at the hospital that you heard in the clip there, they were lying. I mean,
deflection.
Does the hospital have a policy against doing gender-affirming hysterectomies for 16-year-olds, and yet they were going to do it anyway? Well, that's a scandal, too. I mean, no matter what, the hospital doesn't come out clean here.
That's just not true.
And yet the kind of hopeless feeling that you get, as always, is that even though it's right there plain as day, it just doesn't matter. There's no further investigation from any relevant authority. This is in D.C.
Now, this part's very important. He's saying, hey, buddy. Hey, come here. Hey, I'm at Walsh right now. Ready? Come here. Hey. Nobody's doing anything about this. Nobody's doing anything about this. Nobody. I'm not saying anything, but nobody's doing anything about this, you know? I'm just saying. You know? And it's like, well, okay. Now what? Like, what do you think is going to happen, you fucking dipshit? No, he's not stupid. Matt Walsh, honestly, my take on him is he's many things, but he's not stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing. And that makes it worse, not better. It makes it worse. Okay, he's very calculated. He's a fascist. He's a very smart fascist, is what he is. Alex, you should probably look into AFAB, people under 18 that have healthcare problems and that have to get surgery. I don't know if you find anything useful, but my old childhood friends had problems. Okay. Yeah, Pontius Pilate, motherfucker. Yeah.
Okay. You think the mayor of D.C. is not going to put any pressure on this. The police aren't going to show up.
See?
And really,
the implication is that it's up to you, the viewer, right? That's the implication.
Entire statement is mind-boggling. What about this part here? We do not provide hormone therapy to children before puberty begins.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the significance of that?
Okay, so here's another interesting point. Matt Walsh is making a huge contradiction here. He's saying both that the hospital is lying about giving hysterectomies to children under the age of 18. He claims that they're lying about that. That's his claim. He said it himself. Now, he's taking them at face value. He's taking them at face value when they say they do not provide hormone replacement therapy to children who have not who have not reached the age of puberty yet, before puberty begins. And he's taking that word for word, right? So you got to pick a lane, man. If they're lying, they would just go all the way and say, no. They would be hands off. We don't do anything under 18. We don't do anything under 18, right? It doesn't make any sense. None of it adds up. Matt Walsh is literally just lying.
What's the significance of that? You don't provide hormone therapy to children before puberty begins, but you do provide it after puberty begins or when
Yeah.
puberty is beginning.
Yeah.
They're still children, though.
Yeah.
Aren't
They
they?
are. Guess who else? Guess what else we give to children? Vaccinations, cancer treatment. If they have cancer, we give them all kinds of medication. We give them Adderall for ADHD, a stimulant that is a very close relative to meth, by the way. We give that to kids as young as like 4 years old, man. So I don't know what the fuck you want from us.
This is something that I've heard from trans activists, actually, not the first time. This is something
Which I
I've
do
heard
support,
frequently
by
over
the
the
way.
last few weeks, especially as they've been denying that these things are done to children at all. And I've heard this. Well, this isn't done to children. It doesn't happen until puberty.
He's lying. See, he's lying through his teeth again. We've said from the beginning, hormone replacement therapy is for people who are going through the age of puberty, right? That's what that is. Hormone blockers are for just before you start puberty, and hormone replacement therapy is to replace your body's naturally made hormones, to help your body form into the affirming form that you want it to take. Okay, that's called self-determination. But conservatives don't like self-determination. They don't like bodily autonomy. They want control, right? They want to be able to control what you do with your bodies, despite what they tell you otherwise. I found it on an EMT called Viagra. Actually works for a different condition. Had a minor on it. Yeah, I know that it works for prostate cancer. Probably, I think. I no, I could be wrong about that. I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of the hair growth stuff. Finasteride. That's what I'm thinking of. I forget what Viagra's for. I know that it's mainly for boners, but it might be for hypertension. I know that it can drop your blood pressure. So.
What do you mean? But so we're talking about 11 and 12-year-olds or even younger. You don't see them as kids?
Yeah, they're
Well, the answer
kids,
is they
but
don't.
That's when you start hormone blockers.
And now you start to get the full picture. Maybe you start to understand what's really going on here. And this is how this all gets wrapped in with the normalization of pedophilia. There's a reason why that is happening.
Wait, you have to substantiate that. There's nothing even if you were to take everything that he was just saying, word for word, truth, right? None of it implied any pedophilia. That is such a stretch, even by his own logic. That is such a stretch. That's literally the sexualization of children, which even with his own wording here is not happening. Is not happening. At worst, you can say that they are mutilating kids. That still does not classify as pedophilia. I'm just saying.
Kids at drag shows and all the rest of it, the sexualization of children, the normalization of pedophilia. This is all happening at the same time as the gender-affirming surgery.
He snuck it in. He just snuck it in, and his audience is going to eat it up.
So-called gender-affirming surgery. All this is happening. It's all part of the same program. Because you can hear them saying it right there. It's like, well, actually, 12-year-olds aren't even children.
No. Can you point to that, though? Can you point to where they said that? Because I don't think they said that. I'm pretty sure they didn't say that. You're just making shit up, Matt. You're just making things up, Matt Walsh. You're just lying.
As you can see, they're setting the stage here.
This is coming from the man, by the way, who said that he violates the consent of his children all the time. Just remember that.
Let's also keep in mind, and I think it's important to expose the fact that they're lying about the hysterectomies. And I'm glad that we have this investigation that confirms that. But let's also not allow them to make the whole conversation about the hysterectomies. Because it is probably true that most hospitals and clinics in America, at least officially, don't perform that particular procedure on minors. That's probably the case.
That's definitely the case.
At least not officially. But that is only a small portion of the overall picture here.
I mean, it's only one minor treatment that not every single trans femme to mask gets. That part's kind of true.
They all do top surgery. They all do double mastectomies on kids.
Come on now, Matt. Come on. That's an exaggeration. A lot of them do, but not all of them.
All of them do.
Oh, he's saying the hospitals. I mean, they might. I don't know. I think that mastectomies, they try to wait until you're an adult, but I think the dysphoria can get really bad as a teenager. It can get really bad. So if you don't get the mastectomy, then it can cause some really bad dysphoria, and it can cause really bad depression and anxiety, and then it can even cause suicidal ideation. Okay, you don't want that. If there's one thing you don't want, it's suicidal ideation. That tends to be pretty bad. Okay, I think we can stand a pair of tits less if it means that you're not going to, be depressed and want to do the bad things to yourself. I think that's fine.
That's not any better. So what they're saying is we will mutilate certain parts of the child's body,
Jamie.
but then other parts we wait until, they're right when they turn 18.
This man's never opened a medical textbook in his life, by the way. Just remember that.
That is not better at all. That is not a
Why?
good excuse.
Why?
Not even close to a good excuse. So let's not they want the whole conversation to be focused around the hysterectomies because they feel like they're on the safest ground there. Although the whole concept of gender-affirming hysterectomy is horrifying, they know that generally that they do wait till 18 for that. They don't want to talk about the top surgeries.
No, I'll talk about it. Hell, I'll fucking talk about it. In fact, I'll even go this far. The youngest that I've heard a top surgery be done is to a 14-year-old. That's the youngest I've heard it actually being done. And I 1,000% support it. 1,000%. You know why? Because that was a decision made by the child and their parent and a doctor. Kim Petra is the only person I heard of that got bottom surgery as a minor. His points are only focusing on the right white trans masculine people. Yeah. Like, they have no problem performing hysterectomies on immigrant children. That's fine because they're brown. That's just standard procedure in America. But if you are a white person and you actually, want a hysterectomy, now we're going to worry about it for some reason, right? Or even if you're not just white, I take back the white thing. If you actually want a hysterectomy, that's when they say no, you can't have it. By the way, I want to put this out there as well. Whatever decisions are made by a team of healthcare professionals, a child, and a parent who is willing to engage with the professionals is fine. It's fine. If they say, hey, this child is 14 or 15, whatever, and they need a hysterectomy because that is going to improve their health outcomes, yeah, go for it. I say yes. Pog, go for it. I don't care what it's for either. If it's going to improve their standard of living, their health outcomes, as judged by a team of healthcare professionals, go for it. There's just no arguing that. There's no arguing that. That's just it. If there is truly a God out there, I hope they burn both Matt Walsh and Shia Reichick's lives to asunder because holy fuck, I want justice. This is, of course, assuming they've already died because we all will die. So it's not a controversial thing to say that, yes, I do hope Matt Walsh burns in an eternal hellfire for eternity after he dies, after his Minecraft avatar has logged out permanently. Imagine if in Canada they sterilize cis women of a certain race. Yeah, it'd be crazy. I'm Roma white disabled and trans. Might drop the Roma card to get my tubes tied easier. Oh no.
If you want to join my exclusive...
No thanks, I'd rather die. Yeah, always great stuff from our buddy Matt Walsh, our fellow bearded glasses yielding friend. In some ways though, I do have to say, I think that he's closer to a woman than I am to Matt Walsh. I think that he's just soy enough that he actually... that I don't think he's quite close enough to being a man. I feel like I am a lot more of a man than he is in many, many ways. I'm just saying. Not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just putting it out there. But yeah. I mean, the whole thing was bullshit. The whole thing was bullshit. He mooses his beard for volume. Yeah, I believe. I mean, I put stuff in my beard. I don't fault him for that. But I will say without his beard, he has a soy jawline for sure. It's the Hassan Ben Men tweet. Yes, Matt Walsh is a pussy. Matt is soy cucked as fuck. I don't think he's cucked, but he's definitely soy. All he fucking cares about is kids' genitals. That's it. Which, that's a little sussy, right? He seems to be very obsessed with children's genitals and what other parents deem as, and what physicians deem as necessary to do with children's genitals that will improve their health outcomes. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying it's a little weird. It's a little weird, Matt. Go live your fucking life. You got your own kids to worry about, Matt. All right? I'm just saying.